avoid additional scrutiny. Timing of advertisements. Contracts advertised during distracting periods like the holidays can result in less competition and a really strong advantage for the favored company. Like Christmas time, work slows down and companies are less attentive to business opportunities. Emergency contracting. Claiming emergencies allows officials to legally bypass normal procurement rules, making it easier to award contracts to favored companies. Contract timing. Contracts awarded just before or after election can be payback for campaign support and not based on what Jamaicans really need. Collusion. And what if penalties are not enforced when work is poorly done? This could be a contractor and public official working together for private benefit. And if it is, this is collusion. These flags do not prove corruption, but they trigger questions that citizens must ask. So mind your business, Jamaica. Visit the JAMP procurement tracker to monitor government contracts. If you spot these flags, use our ATI tool to ask questions and demand accountability.
Peace begins with us. Every act of kindness, every step towards understanding brings us closer to a brighter tomorrow. Let's choose unity, compassion, and hope. Together, we can build a future where peace reigns.
Brighter tomorrow starting today.
Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic. Well then, let's propel we nation, moving forward in a new direction. True independence, that's the projection. No more dependency, it's the best plan. Yes, we know what's best for us, cause we want we country prosperous. So make we just pull together as the general public while on the road to republic. Let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic.
A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
We on the road to republic. We are the youth united against corruption, changing the world and the way we function. The youth united against corruption, changing the world and the way we function. You remember the youth, them are we future leaders, policy creators, decision makers. As if them are not just the cornerstone, but a crucial part to a better tomorrow. United against corruption, changing the world and the way we function. The youth united against corruption.
A message from the Integrity Commission.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Jamaica is changing right before our very eyes. Across the island, billions are being invested into our road networks, from farm and community roads to major roads and highways. Dozens of communities across the length and breadth of Jamaica are receiving access to reliable potable water for the very first time. And thousands of Jamaicans have become homeowners thanks to the historic shifts in policies of the National Housing Trust, making it easier for Jamaicans to receive funding. Not to mention the record number of houses being built. Never dreamed you would own a home? No matter your circumstance, home ownership is possible for you, thanks to the government's new social housing program specially designed to meet the needs of poor Jamaicans at no cost to them. We are building Jamaica.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
How do bills become law in Jamaica? Laws are made to create order, to ensure our safety, and to protect our rights against abuses by other citizens, organizations, and even the government itself. A bill is a proposal for either a new law or for a change to an existing law. Jamaica's parliament is responsible for making our laws, and that responsibility is shared between two houses. There are 21 parliamentarians appointed from both political parties to the upper house, also known as the Senate. And there are 63 members of parliament that we, the people, elect to the lower house, also known as the House of Representatives. To pass a law, there is a minimum of 6 stages required in each house. The process can begin in the upper house by a senator or in the lower house by your member of parliament. And their proposals for a new bill can certainly start with you, the citizen. Now, since the process often begins in the House of Representatives, let's start there. 1. The first stage begins with the introduction by the minister responsible for the bill, followed by the first reading of the bill by the clerk to the Houses. This clerk is more like the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer for the Parliament. An announcement of the bill is published in the Gazette. This is a public newsletter that the government uses to inform the citizens of what the Parliament is doing on your behalf. 2. The second reading begins with a summary of the bill by the minister. The main reasons for the bill are discussed both by the government and opposition members to determine if Jamaicans would really be better off with the new law or changes to an existing law. A vote is taken by the House to determine if the bill will move to the committee stage. Sometimes before going to that stage, the minister responsible for the bill can recommend the use of a joint select committee. It's called joint as its members are taken from both the upper and lower house. To benefit from greater consultation, the committee is empowered to invite the public to share their views of the bill in writing or in person, and does so through radio, TV, and newspaper adverts. This Joint Select Committee submits its recommendations to the House of Representatives. The House debates this report, and a vote is taken to determine if the bill should go on to the committee stage, where it is examined by a committee of the whole House. Yes, that's the name. And that's what it is, a committee of all the members of Parliament that carefully examines each clause and makes improvements to ensure the bill will achieve its objectives. As chairman, the Speaker of the House monitors the process to make sure the rules of the House are obeyed and the process moves along smoothly. 4. The Committee of the whole House examines the bill clause by clause, then sends its recommendations for changes to the House of Representatives. This is called the report stage. 5. The bill then passes to the third reading to allow a final opportunity for MPs to make changes before it is sent to senators in the upper house. 6 to 10. In the upper house, the senators go through the same steps we just described. If any changes are made, the bill has to be returned to the House of Representatives for their discussion and approval. Now, if the bill had started in the upper house, it would also have to be returned to them for approval of any changes made by the lower house. 11. Throughout the entire process, the bill is being checked by the Legislative Council. That's the Parliament's lawyer. But before the last step, a copy is sent to the Attorney General of Jamaica for final review and certification. 12. If all is well, the bill is sent to receive the royal assent from the Governor General as the representative of the Queen, Elizabeth II. The bill is now an Act of Parliament. The Act is gazetted, and the rights of Jamaicans are further preserved and protected by a new law.
When the storm rages and the world feels shaken, remember, our strength lies in unity. It's in coming together, sharing hope, and standing shoulder to shoulder that we find resilience. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement builds a brighter tomorrow. We are stronger as one. Our courage, compassion, and hope will light the way forward. Together we rise. Together we rebuild, because hope is never lost when we stand united, because we are stronger together.
Hey, I'm Abijah, the Roots Man. Today, I want to talk to you about something powerful. Peace. Peace isn't just the absence of conflict. It's about kindness, understanding, and respect. It starts with us. Every choice we make can build bridges or burn them. Let's choose peace in our words, our action, and our hearts. Peace begins with you. Together, we can create a brighter and safer future for everyone. Join me. Let's be that change we want to see.
Nah, click on your link for my liquor brother pre that slot, bro, we no need that. And the next thing them type of song they are listening online, what kind of thing that some big man pose up on them profile and a put chat to a small child. Watch yourself on social media when you a post boxes, no do nothing too wild. What if your little brother said a post ya? What if your bro dead in another crime video ya? What if your little sister take a one pic and it a put up everywhere like it's a poster? Before me share the post, the pic, I ask myself what if I nah comment, I nah go click me. Before me ask what if I nah comment, I nah go click me. Before me ask what if, so before you share the post, the link, just ask yourself what if, yeah. When you're there online, make it a new day at the rhyme. Keep up with the time. Broadcasting commissioner remind you.
Hi everyone, here are 5 benefits of being a beneficiary of the Students' Loan Bureau. 1. Benefit from our 99% approval rate. 2. Benefit from our low interest rate, so less burden when you need to repay. 3. Benefit from the fact that we require no collateral when applying. 4. We're giving you more time to focus on your studies while we focus on the financing. No need to worry about repaying while in school. Number 5. Receive a 14 months grace period after your graduation date before you enter repayment. Don't forget to follow us on all SLB platforms for more SLB info.
Dengue is ordinarily a mild disease. Persons may get a fever, headache, joint and muscle pains. The illness is often resolved through rest and adequate hydration along with paracetamol to treat the accompanying fever. However, on occasions the illness can progress to severe dengue, which can result in organ failure, bleeding and severe fluid depletion that can lead to shock and even death. Therefore, it is important for persons who are experiencing fever, vomiting, severe abdominal pain, bleeding under the skin, feeling very weak, or getting confused to seek immediate attention. Let us work together to protect ourselves against dengue.
In Jamaica, there needs to be one law for all. Every member of this society, regardless of profession, finances, or the area you live in.
I have some bad news.
The company didn't get the contract?
The money they paid us for it has gotten out.
Are you serious?
I'm afraid so, and I understand that there are going to be corruption charges.
Minister, please come with us, sir.
Breaking news. A senior politician and senior civil servant have been charged for corruption.
Thank God not all of them stay, sir.
Build integrity. One law for all. A message from NIA.
When the storm rages and the world feels shaken, remember our strength lies in unity. It's in coming together, sharing hope, and standing shoulder to shoulder that we find resilience. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement builds a brighter tomorrow. We are stronger as one. Our courage, compassion, and hope will light the way forward. Together we rise. Together we rebuild, because hope is never lost when we stand united, because we are stronger together.
Hey, I'm Abijah, the Roots Man. Today, I want to talk to you about something powerful. Peace. Peace isn't just the absence of conflict. It's about kindness, understanding, and respect. It starts with us. Every choice we make can build bridges or burn them. Let's choose peace in our words, our action, and our hearts. Peace begins with you. Together, we can create a brighter and safer future for everyone. Join me. Let's be that change we want to see.
Me, I go show them my way of justice.
I'm abused.
I need legal advice. I don't deserve this.
The truth of the matter is, justice there for all of we. The Ministry of Justice has trained more than 5,600 persons in restorative justice practices. More than 200,000 victims have been supported by the victim services. Legal aid has reached thousands island-wide. Make we talk it out, not fight it out. Call 888 Justice today.
Tell me something. How much time you ever hear the government announce a project and wonder why they must spend millions on this and not on that? Well, if you think there's nothing you can do about how your money is spent, think again. Jamaica's budget is more than just numbers. It reveals our biggest problems and goals, our plans to fix them, and what to prioritize. We can even call it a promise book of what will be done to improve our lives. Now, let's talk about the 4 stages of the budget cycle so we can understand how it works and get involved. Stage 1, planning and review. The Ministry of Finance sends out a budget call to every ministry, which outlines the priorities and constraints to guide how those ministries prepare their budget. After ministries submit their drafts, the Finance Ministry reviews, compiles, and sends them to cabinets for review and approval. Stage 2, parliamentary debate and approval. The Finance Minister tables all budget documents in the House of Representatives. The Standing Finance Committee, which is all 63 MPs, sits to examine the budget documents, and each minister presents their budget and answers concerns the committee has. The committee's report is then tabled in the House, followed by the estimated expenditure, which is tabled as legislation called the Appropriations Bill. That's right, the budget of Jamaica is law. The budget debate formally opens. We have presentations from the Minister of Finance, the Prime Minister, Opposition Leader, and the Shadow Finance Minister. After their presentations, our MPs vote for or against approval. Like all legislation, it goes to the Senate for their approval and then to the Governor General for his royal assent. No later than March 31st, end of the financial year. Stage 3, implementation. The new financial year begins and approved budgets are sent to ministries. Collecting taxes, borrowing loans, and receiving grants begin. And so does the spending. Stage 4, budget oversight. Now, this is where citizens don't need permission to get involved. Throughout the year, operations and spending are assessed by internal auditors and the Auditor General's department that makes sure public entities are compliant with laws and that their financial reports are accurate. All Auditor General reports are submitted to our Parliament's Public Accounts Committee for review and cross-examination of public officials. The Ministry of Finance, Integrity Commission, and MOCA also monitor government spending to guard against poor financial management and corruption. It is our job to review these reports, check the findings in the newspaper, and look up if breaches are fixed at jampja.org. If not, ask your MP what he or she has done to ensure public officials are held to account. No more 9-day wonders. So, did the government follow through on their spending and investment promises last year? What promises will next year's budget have? How will they affect you? And how can you ensure that you get what is promised? For access to the national budget, check out JAM's easy digital version and contact info for your MP at jampja.org. Then link your MP and see what progress is being made throughout the entire budget cycle. Support JAMP. Let's do our job to make Jamaica land we love, Jamaica land we own, and Jamaica land we run well. A message from the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, funded by the European Union in partnership with the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica.
What can a little germs do?
Pink eye running belly, even flu. Germs can make them happen to you.
Put germs on our manners with these. Cover your mouth when you...
Grant us wisdom, patience, and understanding for those who are on their way
I pray that you'll hasten their footsteps. These and other mercies we thank you for and seek. Through your Son's name, amen.
Thank you, Member Crawford. Are there any apologies for absence? I have apologies for Member Paulwell, Buchanan, and Member Jess. Are there any other?
I have an apology for Minister Tova Hamilton. She's away on government business.
Thank you. I just want to welcome everyone to the Regulations Committee of the Houses of Parliament. We have with us today officers from the Financial Services Commission and also from the Ministry of Finance. I'll just use this opportunity to welcome you to this meeting of the Regulations Committee.
Demo. Thank you, Chair.
We move to item 5. All right, so we'll forego item 5 for the time being. As so we move to item 6, matters arising from the minutes. Right, so yeah, we move again to item 7, which is the matters for discussion. And this morning we are here to look at the insurance amendment of the 20th Schedule Regulation 2026. And before we go into the examination, I just ask that Mr. Burrell give us an overview of the amendments.
Chair, what I would like to do is just indicate, I would say, the burning platform or the reasons we have come to you today in order to push forward the fees. So the concept is that at the inception of the FSC, we had a complement of about 131 persons. At that time, the size of the industry was approximately 170 billion in terms of assets. Over the next 18 years, we've had an increase in the size to upwards of 728 billion. In contrast, we have only been able to have a marginal increase in staff based primarily on resources at our disposal, being that of fees. As the industry evolves and grows by quantums and complexity, the insurance division in particular requires the requisite subtech and resources to effectively monitor and assess the risk for both market conduct and prudential reasons. However, this can only be done by increase in resources. And recall, Chair, that we do not get a subvention, we operate a full cost recovery model. And therefore, in line with the best practices from the IAIS, International Association of Insurance Providers, we therefore need to maintain our independence, objectivity, and regulatory strength. Lack of resources, and in this case fees, have resulted in us having to be very creative in how we recalibrate and use benchmarks. For example, with the recent, if I can call it recent, introduction of IFRS 17 insurance contracts, there are several studies and assessments that need to be augmented in our ranks in order to ensure effective regulation and supervision of the sector. Given the delays, in this case, we haven't had a fee revision since 2008, 18 years, and currently we still don't have it. We have had to be deliberate in our approach and deliberate in our recruitment of new staff and purchasing of new technology. We ask that this committee be mindful of that fact as they look through and assess and approve these fees going forward. These are my few opening comments. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Burrell. I'll ask Ms. Wright from the Ministry of Finance if you want to make any comments in relation to the matters before us this morning.
Morning, Chair. Not much more than what Mr. Burrell has already indicated. Just to also reiterate that FSC operates on a full cost recovery model, and it requires that the revenues are aligned to the regulatory effort. And as he had indicated before, the fees have not been amended since 2008. And when they did their analysis in 2024-25, the estimated costs for supervising the insurance industry total 749 million. However, they only collected 487.2 million. So there was a shortfall of 262.5 million. So from this, Chair, you can see that it is critical that the fees are revised to ensure that FSC can carry out its mandate of supervising the insurance company and also protecting the consumers as well. In terms of the changes to the fees, it should be noted though that for the annual fees, what currently exists is a tiered approach, and what it will be revised to is a standard rate. So it will be revised for both the life insurance companies and also the general insurance companies, which will make it simpler to understand and also simpler to operate. There are also other amendments in terms of application fees and also service fees that are being amended. Some as small as, I think, probably $500 or $1,000 that is added onto the fees. So that, in a nutshell, summarizes what the amendments are.
Okay, thank you very much. Member Williams, Member Williams.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Good morning again to the representatives from the FSC and the Ministry of Finance. Just 2 or 3 questions popped up. In terms of these adjustments, I'm not certain there is any requirement to consult, but what's the posture of the industry in relation to these increases, and has there been consultation with the industry in arriving at these fees, the increases? That's one.
As you asked them. So thank you. So the first question is there consultation? This sector is interesting. The former executive director of the FSC is now the executive director of the Insurance Association. So to say that we are close is an understatement, right? So I think there is more than consultation. Yes. As well, the former president of the IAJ is now the president of the ICAJ. Bearing in mind that I'm also a member of the ICAJ, there is also a tremendous link there. So consultation is ongoing daily, weekly. We have a quarterly meeting. we know each other. So the answer is, I would say there might be, it's a joke, but actually it's too much, right? Because we are very, very close. The former head is, so he can call me. Indeed, when I was being onboarded, he's the person who onboarded me. So there is, in terms of concerns, it's just the understanding. There was a consultation paper, and we went through that process. But that's just one consultation. We spoke as it concerns Melissa. We spoke as it concerns past events, burial. We spoke as it concerns COVID. So yes, there's been, I would say, more than any other sector. Sorry.
Yes, I know. I was just saying, of course, I know Melissa. And
interestingly, I'm a reservist. And when I was called out to assist, that's when we had probably the strongest dialogue between myself and the IAJ. I was out there seeing it myself, albeit in another capacity. Tremendous consultation, and I was on the ground, albeit in uniform, and I could give tidbits as to what I saw. And what I saw is, and I'm going to read something, but it's not my words, it's the IAJ's words. And if I showed you this email, it would have occurred pretty either during Melissa itself or just after. I'm going to read something that Everton sent, and he copied members of his team. He said that, I confirm that the scale of the damage and losses due to Melissa is greater than the scale of uninsured damage and losses due to the high level of underinsurance and uninsurance. And he went into, this is a policy issue, because for there to be such a difference between the scale of the damage and the actual insured scale of the damage, it does indicate that our country is, the penetration rate for insurance, the level of uninsurance and underinsurance is something that he wants us to work together on. I told him, I will go as far as I can, but I have to just, he should know, being a former ED, that I have to protect myself from moral hazard. Because if I go out and say, okay, insure more, and then there's a negative impact, then my ability to then go and, for lack of a better word, punish, would be reduced, because I would be one of the proponents of this. So there's a policy aspect to it that I'm trying to work on whilst maintaining my stance as a regulator. But I understand, I was there, I see, and I'm a part of Jamaica, so I saw the issues, and I continue to see the issues, and I try to ensure that I am, even though I'm regulating, I'm a part of the solution on the other side as much as I can. Thank you.
Yeah. So, if I'm to understand you correctly, in a nutshell, it would be your opinion based on your experience and your positioning that the industry, you're not getting any pushback, so to speak. You, in relation to these fees, you anticipate, you have consulted, you're in the middle, you're in the mix, so you're not anticipating any pushback. Meaning when we leave here today, we don't see a headline that insurance industry laments increase in fees.
Has been the topic of headlines. I'm aware of headlines can go, so I can't say that won't happen. And I'll also be fair, right? There is never a good time to increase fees.
Okay.
It has not increased for 18 years, and I think a big part of it is that we have listened. When we have had hurricanes, I don't remember all the names, but burial and so on, we listened and we pushed back. When we wanted to increase it, albeit I was not at the FSC at the time, so I'm picking up data before my time, wanted to increase it during the COVID periods, and we listened and said, okay, we didn't increase it during that time, we were even making losses. So we have listened, but we have to increase fees. So I can't say that anybody in this world, if you increase my fees in my utilities, I'm going to have a pushback. But I would say that broadly speaking, there's an understanding that within a crisis, and you can check this globally, the regulator increases the resources at its disposal. Because you note, and I'm going to be coy here, right? You note that when there's a financial stability issue, there is a contemplation of assistance for the industry players. On the side of the regulator, certainly in the Jamaican context, there's a realignment of leadership, if you can see what I'm saying. So you have a new leader at the head. So I think that for our own consistency in leadership, we tend to want to ensure that we have enough resources at our disposal.
And that, Mr. Chair, with your indulgence, and that leads me to another question. So how have you been able to cope with this deficit of, correct me if I'm wrong, 262.5 million? I think that was pointed out earlier as the operating deficit for the last period, last year, financial year, just to be safe.
When you're asked a question that you are prepared for, right? When your team has said, ensure you answer the question, right?
So you understand the question?
Yes.
With this deficit, how have you been able to fill the gap?
Yeah.
How have you been able to cope? Because I think it's an important question for the industry as well, for the industry, not only for the regulators, for the industry, as to provide some justification for your increase today, proposal or amendments for increase. Yes, sir.
Well, in summary, we have used our reserves. So we are making a loss. We are making a loss currently. The loss is not only due to one sector, of course, but we're making a loss of over 500 million. 200 odd comes from the insurance sector. So we have been using the reserves. And as you, even from a personal standpoint, tell me what happens when you continue to use your reserves and you don't have enough income. I think you can see the trajectory, but that's what's been happening in summary. So we have delayed, we have delayed IT systems, have delayed employment, and we have gone into the reserves. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, member. I want to welcome Member Morris to the meeting of the Regulations Committee. And before we continue, we would have skipped item 5 on the agenda. We now move back to item 5 for the confirmation. Member Morris, you are the only qualified person to do so. Turn on there.
Has it been read?
Well, it has been circulated, so I take it
yes.
that you.
I so do, Mr. Chairman.
Seconder, Member Williams. Seconded by Member Williams. All right, thanks much. I just have one question for Mr. Burrell. You spoke about underinsurance. Underinsurance, yes. Could you say what are the factors that would influence?
Unfair question for a regulator, but I'll give a shot at it, right? But one is...
right.
Firstly is probably the simplest one is if you think of your own personal circumstance where you own property. Property value is 100 million. But for me it's 10, but for you it's 100 million. And you have not done a revaluation in years because it's expensive. So you keep that value 100 million for 10 years, but the replacement cost is 300 million. So when there's a catastrophic event, you're expecting 300 million, but you're only insuring yourself for 100 million. So what will happen is that you'll get that something less than 100 million. So that is a big factor. Another one is just education on that matter. are you aware that you need to do valuations so often and then increase your premiums in line with that? I think a third issue is just income. Is your salary or income moving at the same pace as your house? Probably not. So you do not have the ability to. And maybe a fourth one is culture. I'm seeing that more and more. Do we have a culture of having insurance, or is the culture to not? And I guess number 5 could be collaboration between all stakeholders. I find that regardless of the fact that if it's my fault or not, the FSC is put at the helm of most of these issues and say, okay, give me a solution. So maybe it's to have FSC, IAJ, and other players come out collaboratively and have a push for increased penetration. When I was at, I don't remember the insurance event, I had said that I would want to assist in doubling the penetration rate in Jamaica. It got applause, but I said assist rather than do it because, as I told you, I don't want a moral hazard. But I think these are some of the points that we could look at to improve going forward, bearing in mind that I have to maintain a stance as not to get involved to the point where there's moral hazard. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Member Morris. Do you have any comments or observation?
I may have, sorry.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I think I may have another question. In relation to the actual increases, are you able to say, well, what is the percentage increase, comparatively speaking, over the current rates? Yeah. It's based.
So what happened is that we can't say a percentage because that's not how it was done. So for the actual institutions, what we're looking at is a fairer assessment of how to charge fees because it was tiered, and looking globally and with research, we adjusted the tiered system to a system where it is not a flat rate for both general and life. And that would mean that the larger companies then, because the cap has been removed and there's no tier, you find that smaller companies might be paying less and the larger companies more. And in many cases, that's seen as fair because large companies are, one, look at size and look at complexity, right? And those are factors that assist in regulatory effort, right? So, and as it concerns the other fees, what happened is that we consulted. And in the consultation period, what came to the fore, and as I told you, it's not like these are people I know. They would have said, okay, Karen, this is a process. We have moved in size by 6 times. You can't increase the fees by 6 times. Okay. Let's use an incremental approach to the whole thing. So we said, okay, give me your viewpoint. And we had a trade-off, right? I said, okay, in this round, if you even look at how low the renewal fees are, issues of, Karen, you have persons who come into the sector, and if you would increase it to the true economic value, I think some fees renewal are as low as $1,000. So the insurance salespersons, I don't want to say it like this, but for persons who are unemployed, right, who want to get into a new industry and it's easier than others, the industry didn't want us to create a barrier, and the industry allows that kind of a move in and out for persons. So I would say that I'm not able to give a broad figure, but by the same token you indicated, which is consultation, we had discussions and trade-offs and said, okay, this is what we'll do. And we even said at the end of it, in the next round, and I was fearful because bearing in mind that the last round was 18 years ago. Right. In the next round, I'll be hopefully, happily, retired by then. But in the next round, let's let's place one foot forward, and then whoever takes over would put that other foot. So if that kind of gives you, the context is what you said, consultation and trade-offs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm looking at page, thank you very much, sir. I'm looking at page 2 of the document before me, which is captioned the 20th schedule, fees in Jamaica. Do you have that page? Page 2, 20th schedule. So these rates here, just correct me if I'm wrong, these are the proposed rates for example, registration. Correct? These are the proposed new rates. Yes. So, would you be in a position to, for example, highlight, some examples here of increases, and give us a comparative approach?
Sure, I'll ask Aisha to assist me in that regard.
Yeah, thank you. So it's just for clarity for us, so we can have a fuller understanding of whether we should ask you to increase it some more.
Okay, all right. So, for example, the proposed fee for, let me take one of them, liability, or let me take marine, aviation, and transport for general insurance. So what you are seeing now for your registration is 100,000. The current fee for it is 50,000. So it's going up by 50,000. Right. But when you take the nominal value, you will see that it's really not that much. All right, so let me show you another one. If you go across, yes, it's an annual fee. Yes, proposed fee, yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so let me take you now to the broker. All right, so currently fee is $7,000, and it's going up to $9,100. All right. You're welcome.
All right. Any comment from Member Morris? Okay. All right. All right. Thank you very much.
It's my parting shot, if I may, Chair, and that is, after 18 years operating on a, tight operating budget or expenses, and now having dipped into reserves, it is my view, Mr. Chair, that the increases are warranted at this juncture. My only concern is that we are coming off, we have just passed through one of the most devastating weather event to have hit Jamaica. And we know in these circumstances, persons are resistant to increases. But
so the timing,
that is a concern. But having listened to the presentation, and if you're operating at a loss of 250 million to cover your operating expenses, then an increase of some type is justified.
Thank you very much, members. I want to say to the committee and to our members from the FSC and the Ministry of Finance that the committee has no objection to the members. Are there any objections? Any objections? No. Right. The committee has no objection to the amendments to the schedule presented here today. And therefore, we want to thank you for your presence here and wish for you a safe journey.
Chairman and committee, appreciated.
Thank you. All right, so once again, I want to thank the members and the officers who present here today. We now move to item 8. Is there any other business? There is no other business. The date for our next meeting, we'll set that according to the request from the House of Representatives. For the adjournment, moved by Member Williams, seconded by Member Morris. Thanks again. This meeting now stands adjourned.
BGLC, the regulatory body. We regulate, you play without worry. We regulate, you play. BGLC, fair play when you play. For the fun of the game, you know when they are. BGLC, keep it fair for the player. You play the game and we are the rules that keep everything fair. So the game play better. The betting game, and Lotteries Commission. We ensure fairness, integrity, and responsible gaming practices. Keep the game fair and fun for everyone. We regulate.